Well, hello and welcome to another Daily Dominion. This time we have some Dark Ages paired up with the sciences and the Renaissance of Dominion. And in this one, we have three cards that cost 2 money and a strong assortment of cards at that. The only kind of sad thing about this kingdom is that there is no real way to thin your deck to get those pesky 7 coppers and 3 estates out of it. But on the other hand, there are a few cards that will have some really nice and strong synergies. And yeah, I mean, Wandering Minstrel is a village that allows you to kind of sift through your junky deck and discard all of those coppers and estates, so that will be super important to go against that. Then there's Hunting Grounds, being able to draw 4 cards at once, and we have the Villager mechanic from Renaissance. Sorry, I can't talk apparently, where when you gain Lackeys, you gain 2 villagers. When you play a patron, you get a villager, and those villagers are super handy if you have a potentially duddy starting hand, like just a hunting grounds in your hand. You can just play it and then afterwards play other actions using those villagers. And then by using patron at the end of your turn, you might be able to fill them back up. Sculptor is able to gain lots of important engine components as well as payload here, because Market Square, even though there is only one way to trash cards, Ducat is a viable way to do so. So if you have a Market Square in hand, you gain a Ducat to your hand, even gaining a villager in the process or getting a villager. You will be able to trash a copper, discard the Market Square for gold, and quickly scale up, especially if you have some overdraw and hunting grounds. And this kingdom, even though it doesn't have the thinning, is really, really fast. Like Sculptor gaining you engine components, the engine components cycling through your deck, and then the rapid increase in payload really lets this end in like maybe 10, 11, 12 turns. 13, I would be surprised by. I have played this kingdom a few times on the train. One time I got completely steamrolled by AI, where it reached like 30-ish victory points in just 11 turns, and I had no chance. Whereas also another time I steamrolled it with a proper and lucky opening. And yeah, I guess we can take a quick look at the kingdom plot, where you see that the thinning is bad. Actually, yeah, the thinning really is only turning your coppers into slightly better coppers in Ducat. So that's, yeah, it's more of a remodeling than thinning, but I've decided to count that amongst thinning as well. Alt VP and Feodum, lots of draw in hunting grounds and Lackeys. I guess mainly hunting grounds is driving that bar up to 3. Village in Wandering Minstrel and Lackeys, and gains via Sculptor and buys with Market Square and Ducat. So opening wise, I talked about lucky openings. Or I would advise to go for Lackeys openings here. Whatever you have. I think on 3-4, just Patron Lackeys is best. You could think about Scavenger. Scavenger is not a bad card to open with. And if you in the right circumstances, you trigger a nice, or you discard lots of cards and get through your deck that way quickly. But Patron has the benefits of giving you that villager, so it's essentially not non-terminal. And early on, you are going to struggle with terminal space a bit. And also, this revealing patrons might be relevant with Wandering Minstrels. In principle, also possible with Vagrants, but those we are only going after if Lackeys and Wandering Minstrels are gone, and by that time, well, the game might already be over. So back to the openings, of course, the 5-2 is really, really good, because essentially, depending on where you find the sculptor, you will be able to just put in a patron and or a Wandering Minstrel to cycle through your deck. And that is going to be super duper nice. On the 4-3 that we have, we just open Patron and Lackeys as I advised. And we have the short end of the stick, and AI actually has the 5-2, so we might even lose this game. And yeah, we have the short end of the stick because we do not hit 4 here. It would have been really nice to hit 4 and 5 on this with our 9 money, but we hit 3 and 6, and in that case, well, we might go for Lackeys. We might put in a market square. I think Lackeys is a bit better, and we bottom deck our Lackeys. Okay, AI, that is something that is actually making me rather happy, is going for Guildhall. Actually, I think I forgot to mention this. Guildhall is not bad here, but I think in comparison to another Sculptor, in comparison to Hunting Grounds, whatever, it's probably better to just go for Hunting Grounds, like on this turn 3 of AI there. Anyways, we bottom deck our Lackeys, but at least we have the Patron in here, and this means we hit 5 and can pick up a Sculptor for ourselves. Now, this is a really bad draw as well. We now just put in Wandering Minstrel, I guess, and here probably go for another Patron and pick up a Hunting Grounds. I would love a second Sculptor in the deck as well, but no such luck. And yeah, I think it's another Patron. We do not want to trigger that shuffle. This could also be a ducat or a silver. It's coffer, I guess. Yeah, no, I think a second Patron is fine, especially since we have a Wandering Minstrel in there already. But yeah, these draws are not great. Here, for sure, we want to pick up a Wandering Minstrel just to get through the shuffle, discard some junk. And this is something that we haven't been able to so far. Like play a Wandering Minstrel on top of our deck. Here, this could be a second Hunting Grounds or a Sculptor, and I think I'm opting for another Sculptor because this also helps to pick up Minstrels, which help get through our deck more quickly. And I guess we start by playing the Hunting Grounds, then we'll find the Wandering Minstrel, and we find one of our Sculptors. That's amazing. Can play this other Wandering Minstrel, even pick up a Coffers. And here, this can now be, I guess just Wandering Minstrel and a Market Square. And we could play the Market Square first, then the Wandering Minstrel to discard the rest of our shuffle. Yeah, I think we do want to get that plus buy-in. AI has been going for a lot of ducats, so it does have a lot of plus buy, but okay, we have the worst possible bottom decking there. But I think AI is lacking some draw. I mean, we are lacking lots of draw as well. We only have 2 Hunting Grounds, but at this point, because AI went for that Guildhall instead of a second Sculptor, I think we've managed to at least catch up with it off of the 5-2 opening. And AI is picking up Minstrels there, playing lots of ducats, gaining lots of Lackeys, which is scary, not going to lie, especially since it's picking those up to have a deck full of Lackeys now. And we need to be careful about our villager situation somewhat. I think we're still quite fine at this point. And here, let's play some of those minstrels first. Maybe we reveal the patron. Okay, not happening, I guess. And thus, yeah, we have the other patron in there that we might have revealed. But we at last do here. And this means we can probably try to get a gold into our deck. And We do this by doing that Ducat trick, discarding that market square. Now we have the hunting grounds on top, and we should, well, we've bottom decked, I guess we've bottom decked some good stuff there, some bad stuff there. Yeah, I guess 2 coppers and the market square is not great to have on top, but it is also not too bad. So how scared are we of AI picking up the rest of the minstrels and the rest of the ducats? Mm, I guess we should be a bit scared about this because the ducats essentially cost 1 for AI, and it has a lot of, because of Guildhall, it's a treasure, and it already has a lot of ducats and a lot of buys. So we should probably pick up a duchy here. For sure, we want to pick up another hunting grounds for some extra draw, but I think we need to go for this safety duchy. Mind you, it's already it's only turn 9, but yeah, AI will probably be able to draw its deck using all of those lackeys that it picked up. And it might even win here. No, it actually staggered and is now going for hunting grounds. That makes sense, I guess. We start out with the lackeys because we want to go maybe keep our market square for a bit longer. Mm, And the question is whether we go for it here, whether we try to win this turn. In that case, we would need to pick up both Wandering Minstrels and 5 Ducats, which is not possible at this point, I think. So we need to play for another turn, but nonetheless, I'm pretty sure we need to pick up some of those Minstrels anyways. And yeah, this is a bit unfortunate because our draw decided to not collide with the market square stuff. We need to either play the Sculptor as a minstrel gainer, or we need to play this market square. What is better? I guess leaving, just picking up this last minstrel might be a bit too risky. So we need to probably just pick up a silver or something like that from the Sculptor. And that's, I guess, a great reveal. We get some coffers of this patron, and yeah, can just draw through. I guess we just pick up another patron, actually. It's a nicer card than a silver, and go for provinces. And with that, probably we should pick up another sculptor. Or would we be safe by just going for Wandering Minstrel? So AI does have 1 Sculptor. If it draws its deck, it has 5 4 ducats, so 5 money. It has a 7 coppers or 6 coppers still. I didn't pay attention to how many it trashed. Yeah, it only trashed 1. So it doesn't have the money in principle to pick up all of those. What I'm a bit scared about is us dudding next turn and then AI being able to win over the course of the next 2 turns, but I'm not sure there is that much we can do about this. So let's, yeah, just preserve those coffers and be a bit flexible that way. See where we go from here. Okay, AI has picked up that minstrel. We might need to pick up a market square or a vagrant with that sculptor that we have in our hand. And the good news is that AI is running really low on villagers. So even though it has all of those lackeys and hunting grounds, it doesn't have a lot of punch left in its deck anymore. I mean, still with some of these minstrels, it will be able, like it has 4. I think we have 5. We have 6. Um, yeah, that was a great reveal. And we might be able to pull through here. I think this, let's actually reorder this. This needs to be a market square. It's also a buy. That's good if we want to this turn just empty the ducats. So let's go for more hunting grounds, more lackeys, I guess, first, and maybe we'll reveal this last patron. Now we won't be able to reveal it even if we draw with the market square, so let's just draw with the hunting grounds, play one more minstrel, play another minstrel. Last card, I believe, is just a junk card, probably a copper. And that means, I guess I should have reordered this differently, but we are going to pile out on this turn anyways, because we can pick up the last remaining ducats and another province. And yeah, this was 11 turns and it felt really tight. I think if AI had gone for Sculptor instead of Guildhall on turn 3 there, it would have won easily because we didn't have the greatest pace. We were a bit on the slow side, given also our early game draws. Like, if I remember correctly, we had this turn 3 where we only hit 3, which wasn't great, and our lackeys missed the shuffle. If you play lackeys on the first shuffle, you immediately find it again in the next shuffle, and I mean it's a tiny thing, but it propels you even further. In the best case, you hit 4 and 5 on turn 3 and 4 and pick up Wandering Minstrel and Sculptor. And then in the best case afterwards, you find the Wandering Minstrel and Sculptor on top, and then you're just rolling. But in the very, very best case, as I told you, you just open Sculptor and Lackeys and go on from there. But yeah, this is a really fast kingdom. In one of the playthroughs where I had the 5-2, I managed to finish in 9 turns. And one of the ones where I had better early game draws, it was just 10 turns, but also then there was this one where AI got to more than 30 VP in 11 turns. And that was that. I had no chance of playing around it there. Yeah, interesting kingdom, interesting at so fast, and yeah, lots of strong cards, a bit lopsided on the draws because of the junkiness. You're kind of reliant on not dudding off this deck that at this point at the end now contains lots of stop cards. I mean, okay, 5 of those ducats we gained on the last turn, but nonetheless, I mean, more than half of it is stop cards at this point. And sorry, and that of course can be a bit scary. Also, I would have loved to pick up a few more lackeys. AI kind of snatched all of those away from us, but it worked out. We managed with the villager situation because we had more minstrels and also patrons to refill those villagers at the end of our turns. Anyways, I'm starting to ramble about this kingdom. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll try to catch you in the next one. And until then, goodbye.